Welcome to American Government class. I'm Mr. Soderberg, your American Government AEO instructor, and we're going to jump right in with an introduction to government. First of all, our learning targets. After this brief lesson, you will be able to define government and explain its purpose. You will learn about the definition of state and identify the four characteristics of a state. And finally, you will be able to identify the four theories of how states came to be. So just what is government and why do we need it? Well, government is simply an institution through which a society makes and enforces public policy. And we will look at public policy more closely in the next few slides. Government came about because people needed to protect themselves from conflicts. They needed an institution that would provide law and order. Government probably evolved as people discovered that it was easier to protect themselves if they stayed in groups. That's the safety in numbers argument. And as societies became more complex, it became apparent that some members had more power than other members. And in most cases, it was beneficial to have people serve in these roles of leadership. Sovereignty. Sovereignty is a word that you will hear a great deal in government and political science classes. And sovereignty is simply the right a group of people have to govern themselves. Think of the United States as a sovereign nation. We are free to govern ourselves. Public policy. How does a government maintain order and address the needs of its citizens? It does so by drafting and implementing public policy. When making public policy, a government's legislative body will consider many different things. They consider scientific facts, hopefully, legal issues, the personal values of lawmakers, political realities, in other words, what is actually feasible with the available workforce and budget constraints, and the will of the people. And as you can see, public policy is written for many different aspects of society. The state. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word state? Your mind probably goes right to one of our 50 states: Minnesota, Wisconsin, California, Texas, New York, etc. In this course, we will use the term state to identify a nation or a country. Canada is a state. Mexico is a state. Those are both countries. And states have four characteristics. They have people, or citizens. They have defined political boundaries that form a territory. There's that word sovereignty again. And they have a way of providing law and order. They have government. There are four theories that attempt to describe how states came to be. They include the evolution theory, the divine right theory, the force theory, and the social contract theory. The evolution theory postulates that families expanded into an extended network of families known as clans. And these clans evolved into tribes, and tribes eventually became states. An example of this is Israel. Jacob had 12 sons, and Christianity and Judaism teach that God changed Jacob's name to Israel, and from the descendants of these 12 sons of Israel came the Israelites, the nation of Israel. The divine right theory. This states that the state was created by God, and God gave royalty the divine right to rule, and people were expected to obey their ruler as they obeyed God. This was a widely held belief in several early civilizations, such as the Aztec and Mayan, and also civilizations of Egypt, China, and Japan. The force theory. The force theory is sometimes referred to as the force and conquest theory. The idea is that one person or a group of people claimed control over an area, and they forced everyone within its borders to submit to that person or group's rule. The idea was that the state was born of force. Okay, the social contract theory. This is the belief that the state arose out of the voluntary action of free people. People decided to cooperate with one another, also known as entering a social contract, to produce the things that they needed, such as farming, industry, education, housing, technology, etc. This concludes your introduction to government.